During dinner, Shola's husband suddenly said, "I want an open marriage." She froze. Before she could speak, he added, "If you don't like it, you can leave." Then he stood up and dropped another bomb. "My new wife will be here tomorrow." Shola thought it was a joke until the next day when he brought another woman into the house. But what he didn't know was that she was about to teach him a lesson he would never forget. This is African Folktales with Nsinem. Listen closely, because Shola is not as weak as she seems. Before the insults, before the second wife, before that night that shattered everything, there was love. Or at least, what Shola thought was love. It all started in a secondary school in Ibadan, where both of them worked as teachers. Shola taught physics. Cletus taught chemistry, with a high concentration of sweet mouth, because that man could talk. "Shola, if beauty was a subject, you would be the principal," he would say, adjusting his cheap tie like a CEO of compliments. Shola would blush like a secondary school girl writing WAEC for the first time. Other teachers warned her, "Be careful of that Cletus," one of them whispered in the staff room. "He talks too much." But Shola, she didn't listen. Love had already blocked her ears, and before long, Cletus proposed. Not with a ringo, with grammar. "Shola, you are the missing chapter in my life's textbook." That was how she said yes. Now, when it was time to pay bride price, that was when reality showed. Cletus suddenly became financially unavailable. "I'm just trying to stabilize first," he said. Stabilize care. The man could not even stabilize recharge card.
But Shola, deeply in love and slightly foolish, made a decision. A decision she would later remember and say, "God, why didn't I slap myself that day?" She withdrew all her savings, every single kobo, and handed it to Cletus. "Use it," she said softly. "Let's build our future together." Cletus smiled. That smile, if you saw it well, you would know it was not love. It was victory. But Shola didn't see it. Nobody in her family knew. To them, Cletus was a responsible man who paid everything. Only Shola knew the truth, and she kept it like a secret. After the wedding, Shola moved into Cletus's apartment. Apartment kwa. That place was a test of faith. When rain fell, it didn't just fall outside. It attended the housewarming inside. Bucket in the sitting room, bucket in the bedroom. One even had VIP position in the kitchen. At a point, Shola stopped saying, "It's raining." She started saying, "Our house is leaking again." But still, she endured. Because in her mind, this is just the beginning. Things will get better. If only life followed motivational quotes.
Then, one afternoon, everything changed. Her uncle called. "Shola, there's an opportunity in an oil and gas company," he said, "and I have already recommended you." Shola froze. Oil and gas? This was not small teacher salary again. This was breakthrough. This was escape from bucket ministry. This was a chance to finally breathe. That night, she told Cletus. Instead of celebrating her, the man went quiet. Very quiet. Then he smiled. That same smile again. "Shola, you know, as the man of the house, it would make more sense if I take the job," he said. Shola blinked. "I mean, I will earn more, take care of you better, and you can rest," he added smoothly. Rest? From what? Suffering? But love, that dangerous thing, clouded her judgment again. She thought about it. Then she made the decision she would regret for the rest of her life. She called her uncle the next morning. "Please, give the job to my husband instead." There was silence on the other end. "Are you sure?" her uncle asked. Shola smiled. "Yes, sir, we are one." If only she knew. She was not one with Cletus. She was just useful. And the painful thing about being useful to the wrong person is that they only value you when they need you.
Shola's mother called her immediately. Her brother told her his niece had asked that the job be given to her husband. "I am not trying to tell you how to manage your home, but my brother arranged that job for you. If you take the job, you can provide for your family. If you don't want the job, then let your uncle give it to any of your brothers. They are all qualified and don't have good jobs as well," Shola's mom said. But Shola gave her mother the "we are one and it doesn't matter who does the job" line. Her mother listened to her, but before she ended the call, she made one statement. Shola, a man who climbs to the top using your shoulders as a ladder often forgets whose shoulders they were once he sees the view. I hope you don't regret sacrificing your career for a man. Well, draw closer and listen. Let's find out together if Shola regretted that decision. Do you think she will regret it? Drop your response in the comment section. At first, it felt like God had finally remembered Shola. The same man that could not afford recharge card was now collecting salary that made neighbors greet him with respect. They moved out of the bucket ministry apartment. No more rain inside the house. This time, when it rained, Shola would just sit by the window and smile. And then, double blessings came. Twins. 2 beautiful babies that made her forget, at least for a while, that her life had ever been hard. She was happy, truly happy, until Cleta's sister, Gladys, came to visit.
Now, every African home has that one relative that comes with unnecessary authority. This one, she came with full government. At first, it was small. Shola, this stew has too much oil. Shola, why are you cooking like you are feeding a village? Shola, money does not grow on trees. Shola would smile. Inside her mind, God, give me patience, because if I use my strength, prison will collect me. She ignored her. She endured her. She kept quiet until the day Shola had dished her food peacefully. Rice, stew, and 2 correct chicken thigh, because life was finally making sense. Next thing, Gladys stretched her hand, picked 1 chicken from Shola's plate, and dropped it back inside the pot, like a government official reallocating resources. Shola froze. Even the spoon in her hand paused. For a moment, her spirit left her body. If your husband's sister removes chicken from your plate, what is the first thing you are doing? A. Give her a jaw realigning slap. B. Report her to her brother. Or C. Walk away quietly. Because what Shola really wanted to do was to stand up, give her a very accurate slap, and escort her to the nearest find your own husband center. But no, she breathed in, she breathed out, and told herself, violence is not the answer. So she let it go.
But the woman did not stop. One day, Shola had finally gathered strength to wash the twins' clothes using the washing machine. Progress. She loaded everything, added detergent, pressed the button, and went to check on the babies. When she came back, silence. The machine was off. Her sister-in-law stood there like NEPA that just took light. Washing machine is a waste of electricity, she said. Use your hand. Shola just looked at her. No words, because if she spoke, it would not be English. She quietly walked away, entered the bedroom, grabbed a pillow, and screamed inside it. That pillow saw things that day. When she finally told Cletus, expecting at least small support, he looked at her and said, just wash it with your hands. That was the moment something inside Shola shifted. Not broken, shifted. Because slowly, gradually, Cletus began to change.
It didn't happen overnight, no. It started with small things. Snapping at her, raising his voice, talking to her like she was less. Then, one night, he didn't come home. Shola didn't sleep. She called him again and again. No answer. Her heart was beating like she was writing jam without reading. One night became 2. 2 nights, no explanation. When he finally came back, Shola rushed to him. Cletus, where were you? I've been calling. He walked past her like she was air. No apology, no explanation, nothing. That was when the late night calls started. Phone ringing at odd hours. Him stepping outside to answer, lowering his voice, smiling at his screen, smiling but not at her. Meanwhile, Shola was still managing her small teaching job. The business he promised her, that one was still in the land of coming soon. Shola felt it. That heavy feeling,
like someone trapped inside a life they didn't plan. 2 babies, little income, no support. She would sit sometimes, look at her children and whisper, "If I leave, how will I survive?" So she stayed. She endured. She adjusted. She told herself it will get better. Until one day,
Cletus looked her straight in the eye and said, "I want an open marriage." And just like that, everything Shola had endured, everything she had sacrificed, came crashing down. But what Cletus didn't know was this: the woman he thought was weak was only waiting. And when her time comes, even he will not recognize the Shola he married. If you are enjoying this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves a good African tale. Cletus thought he had control. He thought Shola would cry, beg, and accept her fate. But he forgot one thing: the quiet ones are always the most dangerous. Because while he was planning his open marriage, Shola had already started planning something else. And when it finally unfolds, Cletus will wish he never brought that woman into his house. That night, Shola begged. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like someone trying to save what was left of her life.
"Cletus, please, let's talk about this," she said. But Cletus, his mind was already made up. You know that kind of stubbornness that is not even from sense, just pure nonsense. That was the one. By morning, Shola already knew she was on her own. Then, the next day, exactly 12 noon, as if the devil himself booked an appointment. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. Shola stood still for a moment. Her heart knew before her head did. Slowly, she walked to the door and opened it. And there she was, Matilda, the biology teacher from Shola's school. That woman. In school, they used to say, she doesn't just teach biology, she practices it, especially with other people's husbands. Matilda stood there, sunglasses on, confidence high, and 2 full suitcases like she was checking into a hotel she already owned. Shola looked at the bags, then looked at her face, then back at the bags. No need for introduction. This one did not come to visit. She came to stay. "I'm here to see your husband," Matilda said, with a smile that could insult your entire generation.
Shola didn't reply, because at that point, if she opened her mouth, what would come out would bring more chaos. She simply brought out her phone, dialed a number, placed it on her ear, and said quietly, "I'm here." Before Shola could even say the word infidelity, Cletus appeared, like a man who had been standing behind the curtain, waiting for his cue. "Matilda, you're here," he said, smiling like someone who just received a promotion. Shola watched as her husband collected another woman's luggage, watched as he led her inside the house, watched as if she was watching a movie, but unfortunately, she was the main character. Then came the final insult, the spare room, the same room he had asked his sister to clean. That room was not for a guest. It was prepared, planned, arranged for her. And just like that, Cletus and his sister entered Shola's bedroom, packed her things, clothes, shoes, everything. No discussion, no shame, no respect. They carried her belongings and moved them to the guest room. Guest room? In her own house? Shola stood there, silent, still, watching. Because sometimes, when pain is too much, tears don't even come out.
They just stay inside your chest and burn. But what they didn't know was this. Shola was not silent because she was weak. No. She was silent because something inside her had finally woken up. And when a woman who has endured everything finally stops reacting, that is when people should start running. Because that kind of silence is not peace, it is preparation. And Shola had just begun. And just like that, Shola was no longer the wife. She became first wife, numbered, arranged, categorized in her own home. Matilda didn't even pretend. That one did not come to compete. She came to dominate. Every little thing became a battlefield. Her tone, her attitude, Even the way she walked past Shola felt like an insult. One afternoon, Shola was in the kitchen, cooking a pot of jollof rice. The aroma, heavenly. Even the ancestors would have approved. Her baby started crying from the room, so she rushed to carry the child. Just a few minutes, just small minutes. When she came back, she froze. Another pot was on fire, burning like it was auditioning for a disaster movie. And her own pot of jollof rice, gone, empty. The contents had been dumped inside the bin. Shola stood there, staring. What she really wanted to do was to carry that empty pot and use it to reset Matilda's jaw. But no, she held herself.
Again, Shola controlled herself. Then, one day, her mother arrived, unannounced, as African mothers usually do when their spirit is not at rest. Shola panicked. She ran to Cletus. "Please, just pretend everything is fine," she begged. A big shout out goes to Sarah watching from Zambia. Thanks for interacting with me in the comment section. Back to the story. Shola begged and begged. But Cletus, who had already graduated from wickedness to advanced wickedness, didn't listen to her. He didn't pretend. He didn't hide anything. He behaved exactly as he had been behaving. Cold, dismissive, disrespectful. Matilda too, she performed like she was acting in a movie titled How to Annoy Your Husband's First Wife in 24 Hours. Shola's mother didn't say much. She just watched, observed, calculated. The kind of silence that mothers use when they are already planning something. By evening, she left. No shouting, no drama, just quiet. And that quiet was louder than anything.
Exactly 1 month later, Karma knocked. And this time, it did not knock gently. It kicked the door open. Cletus came home one evening with a face that looked like someone had just collected his destiny. Suspended indefinitely. There had been an audit at the company, and guess who was involved in illegal dealings with petrol marketers? Our dear Cletus. The same man that wanted open marriage could not handle open investigation. Life is funny like that. From oil money to how will we survive? Just like that. The house changed, the atmosphere changed. The respect he used to command evaporated. And Matilda, that one did not even waste time. The moment she realized there was money issues, she packed her bags sharp. No goodbye, no take care, no I love you. Just zoom, like free trial that had expired. Shola watched her go, and for the first time in a long time, she smiled.
Because sometimes God doesn't fight immediately, but when he stands up, even spectators will feel it. Now, remember Shola's mother. That woman did not just visit and go. She reported everything to her brother, the same uncle who had once offered Shola a life-changing opportunity. This time, he did not ask twice. When Shola showed up, there was no long talk, no lecture, just action. A job, a better one, higher paying, better position, clean environment. The kind of job that reminds you are never the problem. Shola stood there, holding her offer letter. The same woman who once gave away her opportunity was now being handed another one. But this time, she was no longer the same Shola. This Shola had seen things, endured things, learned things. And as for Cletus, he looked at her differently now. Not with pride, not with control, but with something new. Fear. Because for the first time, Shola had something he could not take from her. And deep down, he knew the balance of power had just changed. But what he didn't know was this: Shola was not done yet, not even close, because the real lesson was about to begin. Since the money had finished, Cletus's sister did not need announcement. She packed her bags quietly and left. No advice, no encouragement, no stay strong. just like that. The same people who enjoyed the benefits disappeared when the benefits ended. Now it was just Cletus, alone. One afternoon, after hours of walking under the hot sun looking for a job, Cletus returned home, tired, frustrated, defeated. But as he opened the door, he stopped. The house was full. Shola was there, her mother, her father, her uncle, even a few relatives. Cletus' heart skipped, because deep down, he already knew. This was not a visit. This was an ending. Shola's father stepped forward, calm, dignified, final. Without raising his voice, he brought out a small envelope and handed it to Cletus. "Your bride price," he said. That moment, it hit harder than any slap, because in that simple act, the marriage was over. No arguments, no begging, no second chances. Finished. Within hours, they packed everything. Clothes, shoes, memories, everything Shola Kemri, and everything she built. Cletus stood there, watching, the same way Shola once stood and watched her life being rearranged in front of her. Now it was his turn. No one insulted him, no one shouted, but the silence, it was loud. When they finally left, Cletus sat alone in the empty house. No voices, no laughter, no children crying, just silence.
The same house that once felt too small for his ego now felt too big for his regret. He walked into the bedroom slowly. The walls were still there, the bed was still there, but peace, gone. He sat down, held his head, and for the first time in a long time, Cletus cried. Not because he lost his job, not because his sister left, not even because Matilda abandoned him. No, he cried because he finally understood what he had lost. A woman who believed in him when he had nothing. A woman who chose him when she had better options. A woman who gave him everything and asked for nothing but love and respect. And he traded her for pride, greed, and temporary pleasure. As for Shola, she didn't look back. Because some endings are not losses, they are freedom. She focused on her new job, raised her children in peace, and slowly rebuilt the life she once sacrificed, this time for herself. Tell me, if you were Shola, would you have stayed or would you have left? When a woman stops fighting for the relationship, it's not because she's weak, it's because she's already gone.
If you enjoyed this story, then I'm sure you'll enjoy this story on your screen. Click to watch and I'll see you there.